Здравейте, здравейте, момци и моми, аз съм GMR, а това би трябвало да е епизод 62, може би 63 всъщност от поредицата ми на ДРЕВНИТЕ Inquisition. Сега, две бързи неща, които трябва да бъдат казани. Първо, този епизод го преиграваме изцяло, тъй като се оказа, че съм бил пуснал скапана сцена, няма значение, друга сцена, която не е предназначена за Dragon Age и всичко е размазано, примерно половината екран на там, тук половин камера, въобще е отвърт. Както и да е. Сега, при всичките неща, които сме направили тук, през тези документи съм преминал вече веднъж, изчел съм ги, така че не мисля пак да се занимавам с това нещо. Ще караме по бърза процедура и ще гледам оптимално бързо да мина през този епизод. Тъй като ми се ще да приключим скоро с тази игра. Вече усещам, че ми реши накрай. Другото нещо, което е, понеже при първото преиграване видях, че вече ме реши накрай. И малко притеснено от това, че може би няма да успеем да изпълним всичките задачи по масата. Реших да използвам мод, който ни спестява 75%, мисля, че 75% беше. 75% от времетраенето на клиповете го премахва, на клиповете на мисиите го премахва и така ще ги направи по-кратички и предполагам, че ще имаме шанс да ги изпълним всичките. Така, тук изпращаме Кълън. Само да видим къде щяхме да изпратиме. Так, тук Лиана. Заправи да премине през документчето, ако някой все пак иска да си прочете. Тук изпращаме
Инквизитор.
Джозефин. Тръгваме към главната задача.
With an illuvion, Corypheus could cross into the Fade in the flesh. Indeed. The Inquisitor can attest that these artifacts still work if one knows how to use them.
What happens when Corypheus enters the Fade?
Why, he will gain his heart's desire and take the power of a god. Or, and this is more likely, the lunatic will unleash forces that tear the world apart.
Няма да оцелее за да опита.
We don't have to worry about this illuvion if Corypheus isn't alive to use it.
Stopping him thusly would be ideal, if you could manage it.
Pardon me, but does this mean everything's lost unless we get to the illuvion before him?
Corypheus has a head start, no matter how quickly our army moves.
We should gather our allies before we march.
Can we wait for them? We should send our spies ahead to the Arbor Wilds.
Without support from the soldiers, you'd lose half of them.
Then what should we do?
Ще работим като екип.
You overcome it, all three of you together. Josephine, have our allies send scouts to meet us in the wilds. Liliana, your fastest agents will join them. Together, we'll have enough spies to slow down Corypheus' army until Cullen's soldiers arrive.
Such confidence, but the Arbor Wilds are not so kind to visitors. Old elven magic lingers in those woods.
We'd be remiss to not take advantage of your knowledge, Lady Morgan. Please, lend us your expertise.
'Tis why I came here, although it is good to see its value recognized.
Any further instructions, Inquisitor?
Гордея се от всички ми.
The Inquisition began as a handful of soldiers. Thanks to you, we're now a force that will topple a self-proclaimed god. I could ask for no finer counsel, no better guidance.
I speak for all of us when I answer. We could ask for no finer cause.
We'll hound Corypheus in the wilds before he can find the temple or this illuvion.
И тръгваме по задачата. Ще гледам си придържам максимално към нещата, които съм взимал като решение в по-рано. Взимаме си Варик, Солас и Iron Bull. Като този път, минали път бяхме с Iron Bull. Айде, пак ще сме с Iron Bull. Айде. И партито ще е същото. Партито ще е същата. Малко епична музичка тук. Музиката тук е доста силна, затова няма да говоря, защото сигурно и без това няма да се чувам. Окей, въпреки че това изгледа за втори път, пак ми поставя усмивка. Добре се справили BioWare тук с тази сцена. Хареса ви. Даде си достатъчно епичност.
The Red Templars fall beneath our blades, your worship. Commander Cullen says they're nearly finished. Our scouts saw Corypheus traveling towards an elven ruin to the north. We can clear you a path through his armies.
Пазете се, капитане.
Do only what you must. We need enough people for a celebration when we get back
Изсипаме
to
водичка, този път.
We will not fail you, my lord, no matter
Няма да
what
си мютвам
comes.
микрофона, защото мисля, че
And
миналия
trust
път
guide you, Inquisitor.
това ми
I wonder,
Това ми е разменило
is it
сцените.
a day your soldiers invoke during battle, or does a more immediate name come to their lips?
Не мога дори да мисля за това.
Another way to let people down if I falter. Thank you for the reminder.
'Twas not I who raised an army of faithful to storm this land, Inquisitor. But I digress. If your scouts report accurately, I believe these ruins to be the temple of Mathal.
Which is?
A place of worship out of elven legend. If Corypheus seeks it, then the alluvion he covets lies within. Let us hope we reach this temple before the entire forest is reduced to ash.
Yep, let's go. Така. Тук имаме Джозефинче.
We are humbled by your late support, Lord Lamarche. Emperor Gaspard has saved Thedas.
His Majesty is overjoyed to fight alongside the Inquisition. A worthy hunt, he said. Emperor Gaspard will avenge his cousin's murder.
Then let this be for the memory of Empress Celine and the peace of Orlais.
Quite so, Ambassador. May the Empress watch from the Maker's side.
Inquisitor, I hear
Здрасти.
Eluvian lies in a temple nearby. No doubt you're departing for it now. Be safe.
Ще празнуваме после самички.
Once we're home, we'll spend quite some time in private.
How can you think of that now?
How can I not?
We'll arrange something now. Return once you can.
Много ясно. Gaspard.
A fine day for sport, Inquisitor. Come, let's show these Red Templars how brute rage found us against good allegiance.
Трябва ли да се биеш тук?
Should you be risking your life here?
As Emperor Dracon before me, I lead my nation from the front lines. There is time enough to grow old and wise and dull on my throne. For this day's glory, I would be alive.
Нека видим кой е по-добър.
Only if we compare how many monsters we strike down today.
I'll take a careful tally. One is honor bound, not to exaggerate. It is your right to lead the charge. Go, and we shall follow.
Така, тук няма абсолютно нищо друго в лагера, което може да намерим, така че няма смисъл да обикаляме.
Now that's a view. Get your blood going.
If the soldiers aren't careful with their fires, they'll do Corypheus's work for him.
One last push and we can lick our wounds. I wonder if Corypheus will show.
Do you sense the magic crackling? Something more powerful than the Red Templars stirs.
В този лагер също няма никой, с който да си говорим, така че просто минах покрай него, за да го видите. Дори повечето години ще ги избягваме пътя. Сега ще избия първите няколко години с идеята, че искам да си напълна армора от тях. Много ми интересно тези години въобще дават ли ни експириенс, защото ако ни дадат експириенс, може и да има някакъв смисъл от това да ги бием. 60 062 експириенс имаме в момента. Малко рано се затичках. След малко. Я видим. Не, те даже не ни дадат експириенс тия години. Няма абсолютно никакъв смисъл да ги биеме. Само ни губят времето. Тук от този водопад не можем да скочим, повярвайте, пробвах миналия път. Секунда, искам нещо да видя. Добре. Трябва да дойдем насам обаче. Малко се отклоняваме.
There, ahead, an entire camp of Red Templars.
Watch yourself! Archers on the wall!
Отклоних се за да вземем това документче. Някой може да му е интересно.
Were we just attacked by elves? It seems this temple of Mythal is not deserted after all.
Perhaps these creatures are the reason few return from the Arbor Wilds.
Сигурно, сигурно. Добре си. Бутах в това дърво. Всички все си викам, няма да ги бия и продължавам да си улитам в боя. Навици. Търсиме тук едно избушено дърво. Ейле. Първо трябва да се отклоним в тази посока. Има още един лагер. Лагер е тук. Да, тук. Въпреки че едва преди малко разцъквах, вече съм забрал някакви неща. Къде са и какво са. Така, тук какво има? Нищо особено. Когато ми прави впечатление тук, че има такова местенце, откъде да се вземе магически огън, но така и миналия път успях да намеря къде е руната. Търсих насам, гледах ей там покрай тази стена. Обаче, понеже толкова се получава, ние като се отдалечиме малко от лагерите и те се разпалват наново, аз отидох да опукам пак градините, си изпуснах факта и тя беше изгубена. И не ми се вършеше да взимам нова факла, така че насам, примерно, вече не съм гледал за руна. Примерно, ето тук не съм гледал за руна. И затова сега ще минем да погледнем. Някъде сигурно има, но не съм си поставил за цел да я намирам.
Good hunting, Inquisitor. We are keeping them at bay. Follow the river to the temple.
Сега къде минавам тук да фърлим един поглед. Небързо. Но не мисля да се отклонявам прекалено много. В чуждета някакви глупости. Сказано, нито артефактите в момента ме вълнуват, където могат да ни се паднат тук, нито ресурсите. Точно заради това няма даже е хубаво да ги събирам тия ковчежета. Удряме едно рамо на кълън, с който не можем да си говорим и продължаваме напред. Тук има нещо интересно, е така, за спорта. Тук ми изглежда като место, където може да има руна.
I hear fighting ahead.
Но няма. Мисля, тези руните се виждат с просто око, просто малко по-трудно се случват нещата. Тук такова си е филмчето на някакво гадно лагало и миналия път беше по същия начин.
These are but remnants. They will not keep us from the Well of Sorrows.
Well of Sorrows?
Be honored. Witness death at the hands of a new god.
Корифия си той така. Тук не беше толкова гадно. Сега по някаква причина е по-бъгало от миналия път, а карайте да върви. Повече накъсва.
Cannot be.
Cross the bridge, now!
Run, boy, run! Натисни! Оп! Затвориха магическата врата. Не, минавам катабата. Тук една доста голяма част от играта реално са синематици, говорене. И малко пъзели.
If he's here for a mirror, why'd Corypheus say he wants a well of sorrows?
I am uncertain of what he referred to.
Това не са ли едни същи неща?
Would they be the same? Could alluvian translate into well of sorrows?
No. It seems an alluvian is not the prize Corypheus seeks. Yes, I was wrong. Does that please you? Whatever the Well of Sorrows might be, Corypheus seeks it, and thus you must keep it from his grasp.
Да, това е така. Каквото и да му трябва, ние трябва да го вземем преди него или да го намерим преди него или да му се случка преди той да стигне до това.
And his life force passes on to any blighted creature, darkspawn or Grey Warden.
So that's how the bastard survived, Hawk.
We'll find a way to stop Corypheus once we're done here.
'Tis strange. Archdemons possess the same ability, and still the Grey Wardens are able to slay them. Yet Corypheus they locked away. Perhaps they knew he could do this, but not how.
Да, те най-вероятно заради това са го затворили.
It appears the temple's magics are still strong.
Is this Elven? Does it say anything about this Well of Sorrows?
Atishor vir Abalasan. It means enter the path of the Well of Sorrows.
There is something about knowledge, respectful or pure, Shivenen. 'Tis all I can translate. That it mentions the well is a good omen.
Това е някакъв старт.
At least we know the Well of Sorrows was important.
Supplicants to Mythal would have first paid obeisance here. Following their path may aid entry.
Not much of a lock if all you do is step on it.
'Tis a ritual, not a barred door. There is more here than earthly treasure.
Така. А защо реши да се включи по-късно от когато трябва?
Do not step any place you have stepped before.
Да бе, знам.
There can be no vacillation. This is where petitioners walked the path of their gods.
It is where they paid fealty to the gods. I have seen it, in the Fade. Only the reverent were permitted to touch this ground, and only in solemn contemplation.
Така, с това отворихме ето тази врата тук.
I see the Venatori have already encountered the temple's guardians.
Looks like an ambush. Impressive work.
Тук мисля, че нямаше нищо интересно, което да ми трябва, честно да призная. Целият храм.
Why would this be here?
Something wrong?
It depicts the dread wolf, Fen-Harel. In elven tales, he tricks their gods into sealing themselves away in the beyond for all time. Setting Fen-Harel in Methal's greatest sanctum is as blasphemous as painting Andraste
Всъщност
naked
има
in
си
the
върви.
chantry.
Те нека си говорят. Може би е история.
Some chantries display statues of Andraste's betrayer Mafarath as part of the chant.
It might fulfill a similar function, a reminder of vigilance for the faithful.
For all your knowledge, Lady Morrigan, you cannot resist giving legend the weight of history. The wise do not mistake one for the other.
Pray tell, what meaning does our elven expert sense lurking behind this?
None we can discern by staring at it.
Можем да го изучим това по-късно.
We can send for historians once peace is brought to this forest.
The inhabitants of this temple may not appreciate guests.
Възможно е, възможно е.
The temple of Mythal, constructed in an age when elves, not men, dominated this land. They believed Mythal a goddess of justice. Elves came here to request judgment after they proved their worth.
Silence has reigned here for time beyond memory.
Сега поговорим с такова. С Мориган. Корифиус наистина ли е безсмъртен?
Are you certain Corypheus is using the power of the blight to make himself immortal?
Perhaps you forget. I was in Ferelden during the Fifth Blight. I have seen a true archdemon rage. How Corypheus gained the power to send his soul into blighted bodies, that is the real question.
Ако го отговорим, това ще ни помогне ли?
Well, answering that question, let us destroy Corypheus for good.
Perhaps. I would suggest first dealing with the well. If Corypheus obtains it, any chance of success could be lost.
Къде в храма сме?
Do you know what this part of the temple was used for?
The room we stand in is a vestibule, not the temple proper. To those who knew it, perhaps this ritual was little more than a polite knock at the gate. These customs must have been as familiar to ancient elves as bowing to a queen is to you or I.
Ти се покланяш.
I find it difficult to picture you curtsying to anyone.
Have we become so familiar you can predict my manners and customs now? Nothing is lost by indulging in the occasional civilized conduct, particularly when unexpected.
Разкажи ми за Митал.
You said this Mythal was worshipped as a goddess?
So one assumes. What is a god but a being of immense power? The dread old gods were nothing more than dragons, after all. They rise as archdemons, and they die. Perhaps Mythal was a powerful elf, a ruler among her kind. History often plays storyteller with facts.
You admit lack of knowledge, and yet dismiss her so readily?
I do not dismiss her. I question her supposed divinity. One need not be a god to have value. Truthfully, I'm uncertain Mythal was even a single entity. The accounts are varied.
There are varied accounts of Mythal?
In most stories, Mythal rights wrongs while
Прощайте,
exercising
трябваше пие едно
motherly
хапче,
kindness.
че забравих по-рано.
Let fly your voice to Mythal, deliverer of justice, protector of sun and earth alike. Other, paint her as dark, vengeful, prey to Mythal, and she would smite your enemies, leaving them in agony.
More Dalish tales, I assume.
Знаеш ли повече, Солас?
If you know more about this, Solus, speak.
The oldest accounts say Mythal was both of these, and neither. She was the mother, protective and fierce. That is all I will say. This is not a place to stir up old stories.
Whatever the truth, all accounts of Mythal end the same. Exiled to the beyond with her brethren.
Прокудена отвъд.
What do you mean, exile?
Tricked by the dread wolf, as all the elven gods were said to be, trapped in a land beyond the Fade. Many Dalish believe this is why the elves fell from grace, and their gods did not save them. Or perhaps they were simply rulers slain by Tevinter. Who can say?
Какви са тези храмови елфи? Елфи в храма.
They seem odd.
Indeed. Two things are possible. One, this is a group of Dalish separated from their brethren, cultists, fanatic in their desire to keep humans away. Two, these are elves descended from the ancients, having resided here since before the fall of Arlathan. The second appears unlikely, but if true, the implications are astounding.
Ще бъде нещо нечувано.
If they keep records, it could change everything we thought we knew about history.
This really, no? To discover an era thought lost forever has possibly thrived in the shadows. We may, however, find these elves reluctant to part with their long-kept secrets. Yes?
Така, пак питам този въпрос.
Indeed. One. Two. The second appears unlikely, but if true,
Възможно ли да е истина?
Is that even possible? How?
with magic, anything is possible. Whatever the truth, the Guardians successfully kept the temple a secret. They must kill all who enter, even the Dalish. A more sensible question might be, why?
Това е всичко.
As you wish.
Open Sesame. Open Sesame 2.
Don't let them pass.
Да ги изтрепяме тези. И шуа. Ай, бе, ти бич.
Come on, we might catch them.
Hold a moment.
Какъв съм готин целия
While they rush ahead,
запален.
this leads to our true destination. We should walk the petitioner's path as before.
You forget that army fighting for us out there? Longer we play around, the more Inquisition soldiers die. There's a hole. Jump in.
In this case, I must agree with the witch. This is ancient ground, deserving of our respect.
You see the urgency? We cannot find the Well of Sorrows unprepared.
Ти искаш кладенеца, нали?
You're very eager to reach our destination.
Are we not all eager to stop Corypheus from achieving his mad plan?
It sounds like what you want is that well.
Панахме я.
There is a danger to the natural order. Legends walked Thedas once, things of might and wonder. Their passing has left us all the lesser. Corypheus would squander the ancient power of the well. I would have it restored.
Ти не знаеш нищо за него.
You barely know what the Well of Sorrows is, but you want to restore it?
Yes. Is Theta so full of wonders that we should leave them to die one by one? Mankind blunders through the world, crushing what it does not understand. Elves, dragons, magic. The list is endless. We must stem the tide, or be left with nothing more than the mundane. This I know to be true. I read more in the first chamber than I revealed. It said a great boon is given to those who use the Well of Sorrows, but at a terrible price.
На Мориган какви бяха ръцяточите в единичката? Какъв е този дар и тази цена?
What exactly did that altar say about the Well of Sorrows?
Like most elven writing, it was insufferably vague. The term I deciphered was Halam Shivanas, the sweet sacrifice of duty. It implies the loss of something personal for duty's sake, yet for those who served at this temple, a worthwhile trade.
Защо не ми каза това по-рано?
Did you not trust me enough to tell me about this price when you read it?
I hoped to find more information. If I intended to cheat you, I would have feigned ignorance entirely. My priority is your cause, but if the opportunity arises to save this well, I am willing to pay the cost.
And gain what?
That is what we must discover. The rituals may point the way.
Така. За да отворим вратата, трябва да отидем и да направим няколко ритуала. Влизаме, защото... Добре, да го вземем този гол, така и така сме влезнали. Бях само с впечатлението, че тук можем да цъкнем на статуята и да извлечем някаква информация от нея.
Will you abandon these rituals, Inquisitor? Think carefully. There is no return once we follow the Venatorium.
Мозайката, бе. Не беше статуята.
What's this?
I believe we are in the presence of the elven goddess Ondrul, Lady of the Hunt.
Or a goddess of sacrifice, according to some.
Truly? I wonder if that is why Ondrul's patron animal is the hare. It is said the Dalish invoke her before a chase, especially if they happen to be stalking humans.
Едва се усещам несигурен.
We're lucky civilization as we know it is intact.
Some admire the Dalish for avoiding the gifts of progress for so long. Many Orlesian commanders consider skirmishes against the Dalish excellent sport.
Who is this meant to be?
Falandine, overseer of funerals and guide to the elven dead. I have heard the Dalish invoke him on their deathbed, or before quests from which they expect no return.
Той е по-малко от забавен.
That's not the last thing I want to think of on my deathbed.
Perhaps it was meant to frighten the elves' enemies.
I do not believe they sing songs about Falandin's vanity.
Кажи ми повече.
Do you know any legends?
It is said Falandin's appetite for adulation was so great, he began wars to amass more worshippers. The blood of those who wouldn't bow low filled lakes as wide as oceans. Mithal rallied the gods once the shadow of Falandin's hunger stretched across her own people. It was almost too late. Falandin only surrendered when his brethren bloodied him in his own temple.
Звучи луд.
No story is dramatic if the people in it act sensibly.
Или ядосан.
Most tales paint Falandin's stubbornness second only to his self-regard.
Тук има още едно пъзълче, което трябва да решим. Общо са 3 пъзелите, които трябва да решиме. До тук. Добре. Сега тук. Така. Така. Сега как го правих аз това? Да.
Indeed. Time to proceed to the next ritual, I should think.
Тук целият храм като цяло е доста празен, но време на време има някоя друга мозайка, която нали, си заслужава да бъде видяна. И като цяло това е. Много е голям храма, има много заобикаляне и като цяло въпреки това е празен. Какъв беше филма тук? Този филм е за лято в рая. Да. Ще се реши зимата.
We are close. There is but one more path to follow.
Да, остана най-тегавия. Стана най-тегавия пъзъл. Това мисля, че е горе. Пробвам да се сетя какъв му беше филма на този пъзъл. Да. Тук се прецаках. Трябваше го докарам до тук. Виж, аз мога... Ай така, оп. Може би и така, добре. Ах, че го прецаках. Жалко. Как сега? Аре, не? Ръчката. Ако ме преценят тия, че са ми застанали на пътя. Шит, тук това по принцип става миналия път. Добре. Миналия път стана, този път ще се опъва, така че трябва да го направим по по-адекватен начин. което ще рече. Ето така.
Everything is lit.
So, what now?
Come, let us see if the doors have opened.
Отворена, бе. Отворихме. Айде, да започне следващия разказ.
It is not what I expected. What was this chamber used for?
We're being watched.
Vanavis, you are unlike the other invaders. You stumble down our paths at the side of one of our own. You bear the mark of magic, which is familiar. How has this come to pass? What is your connection to those who first disturbed our slumber?
Те са ни врагове.
They are my enemies as well as yours.
I am called Abelas. We are sentinels, tasked with standing against those who trespass on sacred ground. We wake only to fight, to preserve this place. Our numbers diminish with each invasion. I know what you seek. Like all who have come before you, you wish to drink from the Vira Belasan.
The place of the Way of Sorrows. He speaks of the well.
It is not for you. It is not for any of you.
Вие сте всъщност древни елфи.
So, you're elves from ancient times? Before the Tevinter Imperium destroyed Arlathan?
The Shemlin did not destroy Arlathan. We Elven warred upon ourselves. By the time the doors to this sanctuary closed, our time was over. We awaken only when called, and each time find the world more foreign than before. It is meaningless. We endure. The Vira Belasan must be preserved.
Какво е кладенецът?
What is this Vira Belasan exactly?
It is a path, one walked only by those who toiled in Mithal's favor.
He speaks of priests, perhaps.
More than that, you need not know.
Солус говори с него.
Solus, perhaps he'll listen to you.
What shall I say, Inquisitor? Shall I sway him from a millennia of service by virtue of our shared blood? He clings to all that remains of his world, because he lacks the power to restore it.
Нямаме намерението да нараняваме.
Did not come here to fight you, nor to steal from your temple.
I believe you. Trespassers you are, but you have followed rites of petition. You have shown respect to Mithal. If these others are enemies of yours, we will aid you in destroying them. When this is done, you shall be permitted to depart. And never return.
This is our goal, is it not? There is no reason to fight these sentinels.
Consider carefully. You must stop Corypheus, yes, but you may also need the well for your own.
Ще се съюзим.
I accept your offer.
You will be guided to those you seek. As for the Vira Belasan, it shall not be despoiled, even if I must destroy it myself.
No!
Сега това, което се получи тук малко тъпо, е, че всъщност имаме един разговор с Мориган, който изтървахме. Това ще се лодаме да го изговорим и после ще се лодаме тук. Това е малко сега тук, подявайте. Не. Надявам, че той ще свърши работа. Кога стана 12 часа.
Yes.
относно използването на кладенеца.
I see. An opportunity to use the well may not even arise. I understand this. All I meant to suggest is that, if it does, I be the one to do so. I am willing to accept the consequences.
Кладенецът толкова ли е ценен? Сипа водичка.
We know Corypheus seeks the well and believes it valuable. We also know it to be guarded jealously, the last remnant of a culture thought dead and gone. So yes, I would take my chances, if you permit it.
Що искаш тази сила?
You said you want to preserve old powers. To what end? What will you do with them?
There is a struggle to control the world's future path. Can you not see it? History haunts us, Inquisitor. It seeks to resurface. Corypheus is but the first to arise. For all the evil that was, there is also good. I will fight for it. I must.
Ами какво, ако тази сила е зла?
How do you know the Well of Sorrows isn't a source of evil? After all, Corypheus seeks it.
A fair point. We cannot know for certain. Yet.
Ами твоя син?
What if something happens to you? What about your son?
Kieran is a strong lad. He will thrive, with or without me.
Are you sure of that?
I am sure of precious little these days. Yes.
Къде се намира в този храм?
Do you know what this part of the temple was used for?
It may have served as a chamber of reflection, perhaps to contemplate the righteousness of one's cause. More importantly, I suspect none were permitted beyond this area without a priest. Ancient texts claim Mythal passed judgment in the flesh, but 'twas surely the priests who proclaimed rulings here.
Защо са всички тези ритуали?
Why did the ancient elves insist on so many rites?
We may safely assume one did not petition high priests for Mythal's justice by strolling up and knocking. I see no more insufferable ceremony here than in a chantry.
Какви са тези ритуали?
More rituals? What are they for? Do you know?
I believe they signify an intent to lay oneself bare, to champion a cause without pity, regret, or shame. Mythal's cult was not fond of vacillation. One approached them with nothing less than complete confidence.
Какво се случва с несигурните?
What happened to those who were less sure of themselves?
Legend does not say. Perhaps this place has a more gruesome history than we know.
Let's continue.
As you wish.
Да, няма да водим, защото тази информация може би ще ни трябва да си я имаме. Да знам, че съм я изговорил с нея всъщност. Така че ще изтичкаме до там. Помала му. Аз не съм наредил пъзела, така ли? Не, трябва да скачи на това горе. Добре. Окей. Вие моля ли останете тук? Ей така. Трябва му малко време на първата почка да загрее, да се усети какво се случва. Нема никой те не слуша, ти им казваш, седете там, те си върват по мене и това си.
So, what now.
Come, let us see if the doors have opened.
Ти ме привратят. Скипваме.
How has this come to pass?
Наши
What is your
врагове.
connect? It is not for you.
Елфи.
We awake. It is meaningless.
Кладенец.
More than that, you need not.
Говори с него.
He clings to all that remains.
Не искаме да ви нараниме.
Consider carefully.
Съюзници. Така. Исках колко се може по-бързо да примириме през това, да не ме имаме пълня. Сигурно и тук няма да може да отворим. Тия две врати за първи път ги пробвам, миналия път не ги пробвах.
They left someone behind. A handy guide, maybe?
Mytholanast.
That's helpful, since Morrigan chased off on her own.
She seeks to protect the Well of Sorrows.
Здравейте, момчета! Само ли беше? На къде трябваше да вървиме? Този, където трябва да ни води, къде изчезна. Той не знае. Аха, видя го. Насам какво има тогава? Че не помня. Добре, тук ще дойдем след малко пак. Само, че той ще ни докара от тук. То се опитва да ни прекара там, където няма бой. Но не мога да минем от там, където е мелявицата.
This place looks untouched.
You have any idea how much this place is worth?
We did not come to cut off the last of elven glory.
I'm just saying.
Всеки пари мари. Та мозайка не мога ли да пипна? Не може. Искам да докосна всички мозайки. Да, не мога да пипаме.
Penshra, Gilas Velathan.
I believe she would prefer that we remain close.
Just a quick look around.
Тая ръчка какво прави? Тук трябва да има градини горе. По принцип идвам заради градините да ги бием, защото не си спомням дали има и някоя друга мозайка. Ти ще ги отрепяме, бе. Не да ги оставяме да си щъкат такива. Да, тук няма мозайки. Добре. Но тук има мозайка, която съм изтървал.
story. We should hurry. Their numbers are not endless.
Бата, не знам за какво бързо не говориш, с ония се тутка там 300 000 години. Излизаме от тази страна, окей. Той, като дойде, аз вярвам, че тия ще ги стрепаме преди това да успява да дойде. Я видим, изтрепахме ли ги преди той да дойде? Изтрепахме ги, не, ами... Даже вече забравихме, че сме ги изтрепали. О, поне тук обаче има наградки. Аз миналия път този пич не го изчаках да дойде до тук и тия неща съответно не ги бях взел. Добре, сега трябва да дойдем насам. Тук през вратите. И сме там, къде трябва да сме.
Well of sorrows. So Mithal endures.
That's... something.
Варик мисля, че говори повече. Явно не му се говори.
The well knows its vessel, and those who would despoil it. Stand aside, Inquisitor. The trials you set me, I have overcome. As a courtesy, leave now. Or not at all.
Трябва да поговорим.
No, Calpurnia. We have things to discuss.
True. I did not think you so civilized. You serve your people. You have one last chance to save them. The well of sorrows overflows with knowledge, power abandoned by those the elves worshipped as gods. To walk the fade without the anchor. That is what the well of sorrows will give Corypheus.
Защото ти си съдът.
If that's the case, why isn't Corypheus clawing at the well?
I will carry it like a jug brimming for his use. Can you not see? I knew you would take the well for yourself, to ransack its wisdom to try to defeat Corypheus. But you'd still be just a child, playing with a sword. Corypheus will wield it as a master.
Corypheus планира да те обвърже.
Once you've drunk from the well, Corypheus will use a ritual on you. You'll be a mindless tool, enslaved to his will.
That... where I come from, idle tales must be proven.
Here, the page with his binding ritual. He tried it on your master, Erasthenes.
Иска, колко съм била тъпа през цялото време.
How could you know? And these runes, no one has written in these since... He made so many promises and everyone alive. Then he discovered Vas. He was to give Tevinter a true leader. If Corypheus would misuse me, he'd misuse them too. I was blind.
Направо си това заради Tevinter.
That's why you joined Corypheus? To see Tevinter rebuilt?
To see her reborn. Slaves allowed their true potential. Corruption excised. Tevinter was the cradle of civilization. Imagine what her future could be. A crafter of wonders, standing against the savage Kunari. A beacon for all.
Все още трябва да те унищожа.
You know the truth.
Не ме кефта, искам да го пукам.
You'll die knowing it.
Come then. One last sacrifice.
Грешно копче, натискам, брат. Момиче, изтича ти живота. Много, много скоро. Айде, пътувай. За жалост не успяхме да я преджоем.
If I fall, it will not be by your hand.
Семията. Но това най-вероятно ще видим в следващия Dragon Age.
You heard his parting words, Inquisitor. The elf seeks to destroy the Well of Sorrows.
So the sanctum is despoiled at last.
You would have destroyed the well yourself, given the chance.
To keep it from your grasping fingers. Better it be lost than bestowed upon the undeserving.
Fool. You'd let your people's legacy rot in the shadows.
Калперния приключи и ние вече можем да си ходим.
Corypheus needed Calpurnia to use the well. Without her, there's no vessel to claim it.
The moment we leave, he will send more forces to secure this place. The well clearly offers power, Inquisitor. If that power can be turned against Corypheus, can you afford not to use it?
Do you even know what you ask? As each servant of Mythal reached the end of their years, they would pass their knowledge on through this. All that we were, all that we knew, it would be lost forever.
Вече е
Look
изгубено.
around you. Everything your people were, it's already gone.
It is.
There are other places, friend, other duties. Your people yet linger.
Elven such as you?
Yes, such as I.
You have shown respect to Mythal, and there is a righteousness in you I cannot deny. Is that your desire? To partake of the Vira Belasan as best you can? To fight your enemy?
Ако позволиш.
Not without your permission.
One does not obtain permission. One obtains the right. The Vira Belasan may be too much for a mortal to comprehend. Brave it if you must. But know you this. You shall be bound forever to the will of Mythal.
Bound to a goddess who no longer exists, if she ever did.
Bound as we are bound. The choice is yours.
Investigate. Какво се случва с Митал?
Is it possible this Mythal might still exist?
Anything is possible.
Elven legend states that Mythal was tricked by Fen'Harel and banished to the Beyond.
Elven legend is wrong. The Dread Wolf had nothing to do with her murder.
Murder? I said nothing of...
She was slain, if a god truly can be. Betrayed by those who destroyed this temple. Yet the Virabella San remains. As do we. That is something.
Къде ще отидеш?
Are you leaving the temple?
Our duty ends. Why remain?
There is a place for you, Lethaline, if you seek it.
Perhaps there are places the Shemlin have not touched. It may be that only Uthenra awaits us. The blissful sleep of eternity, never to awaken, if fate is kind.
Би си срещу Корифиес заедно с нас.
Come with us. Fight Corypheus. He killed your people.
We killed ourselves long ago.
Malas amali nahalam abalas. His name, Abalas, means sorrow. I said, I hoped he finds a new name.
Екстра.
You'll note the intact illuvian. I was correct on that count, at least.
Is it still a threat? Can Corypheus use it to travel the Fade?
You recall when I took you through my illuvian, I said each required a key? The well is the key. Take its power, and Mathal's last illuvian will be no more use to Corypheus than glass. I did not expect the well to feel so hungry.
Това не е добре.
Seems like that should be a concern.
Knowledge begets a hunger for more. I am willing to pay the price the well demands. I am also the best suited to use its knowledge in your service.
Or more likely to your own ends?
What would you know of my ends, elf?
You are a glutton drooling at the sight of a feast. You cannot be trusted.
Of those present, I alone have the training to make use of this. Let me drink, Inquisitor.
Само ти имаш тренировката.
What training makes you so qualified?
I have studied the oldest lore. I have delved into mysteries of which you could only dream. Can you honestly tell me there is anyone better suited?
Солос?
What about you, Solus?
No. Do not ask me again.
Тогава съм аз.
I would be.
You lead the Inquisition. This is not a risk you can take. I have the best chance of making use of the well for everyone. Let me drink.
Тъй като си повтарям стъпките от миналия път, точно както са, да обясна. Тук много се колебаех какво решение да взема и затова се опитвах да извлека възможно най-много информация, докато реша какво да направим с този кладенец. Ами цената?
You're not concerned about the price? Bound forever to the will of Mythal?
Bound to the will of a dead god? It seems an empty warning. Perhaps a compulsion yet remains. Who can say otherwise? I do not fear it, even so.
Ти наистина искаш това?
Are you sure you want this, Morrigan? We don't know what will happen.
We do not, and yet it must be done. I am ready.
Какво мисли всеки?
Thoughts?
She is right about only one thing. We should take the power which lies in that well.
You're asking me? This is a lot of weird...
най-накрая се обади.
I can't really understand how any of this works.
Any chance this well could help us against Corypheus? I say you take it.
Enough deliberation. Give me your decision.
Знам опасността на...
Looking at it, listening to it.
На
That's not
кладенеца.
just knowledge from the ancient elven priests. It's their will.
How would you know such a thing?
That's what Abalos was telling us. The collective will of the priests puts anyone who drinks under a compulsion, a gas. Can't you feel it?
That would match the legends, but it does not tell us what the gas entails. I would still use the well, but you are right. We must be cautious.
Добре, даваме го на Мориган.
It's yours.
Едни доволни, едни недоволни. Няма как. Всички да са щастливи.
Morrigan? Are you all right?
Elasin Salah. Fisan Allah.
Интересно.
I am intact. There is much to sift through. But now we can...
Интересно, че при съпружът започва да говори на елфски. Това бък и миналия път се случи. Така половината тяло ми го нямаш там, където реално има броня. И добре дошли обратно в Skyhold.
It is done.
Готово е, вика. Добре.
I'm pleased to report we won the battle, Inquisitor. When you went through that mirror, Corypheus and his archdemon fled the field. I'm not sure why.
What he wanted was no longer within the temple.
Perhaps. He spent so long trying to get into the temple, he probably couldn't have helped his forces by that point.
Then Corypheus is finished.
If he is wise, he will hide and rebuild his strength before he attacks again.
He will not hide.
Нито пък аз.
And I won't hide from him.
He knows this and will act accordingly.
And how could you have such insight into his plans?
The Well of Sorrows held many voices, and they speak to me now from across the ages. They hold wisdom, secrets I never dreamed possible. But even they fear what Corypheus has become.
Колко силен е?
Should we fear him more than his army?
Possibly. Luckily for you, he has a weakness. The dragon he calls is not truly an archdemon. It is a dragon in which Corypheus has invested part of his being. He doubtless did so out of pride to emulate the gods of old. That pride can be exploited. Kill the dragon, and his ability to leap into other bodies is disrupted. He can be slain.
Сигурен ли си?
You're sure? If there are no bodies for him to jump to...
You assume there is a limit to the range of his power. There is not.
Then what do you propose? Killing the dragon is no simple task, if it could even be found.
There is a way to defeat the dragon, to match Corypheus in his power. The well whispers it to me now. Your help will be required, Inquisitor. Speak to me when you are ready, and we shall begin.
Колко добра идея.
I'll see to Skyhold's defenses in the meantime.
Колко добра идея е да дадем на Мориган да изпие кладенеца, ще разберем един ден. В такъв случай, аз не исках да го къркам за себе си. Сега, тъй като, както казах, ми мирише вече на край, мисля, че е редно тази една точница да си я вземем накрая.
Fear for her, rather than fearing what she will do. You do care.
I would have concern for anyone who came into contact with that thing.
Да, има защо да се притеснява. Да, това тук съм го чел вече веднъж. Сега да им дадем новите задачи. Така, изпращаме Кълън тук. Сега разпределяме задачките, да видим къде, какво, как, защо.
Inquisitor.
Ja. Тук.
You're concerned.
No, I'm just waiting.
Или тук.
Like everyone else.
Not for much longer. At your service.
Изпращаме Джозефинката. Те тук нека си изпълняват задачките за няколко минутки. Ние ще сейвнем. И ще сложим край на този епизод. Не знам колко дълъг стана. Ще се опитах да го направя колкото се може по-късно, както сами видяхте. То няма много, кой знае, много какво отсъкаме. Предимно са разговори и приказки и там няма как да спестим, колкото ни се иска. Но, каквото такова. Добре, това ще е всичко от този епизод. Пожелавам всичко най-хубаво. Чао, чао и до нови срещи.